Welcome back to the channel, guys. My name is Jordan. I've owned an accounting firm for over 5 years, and I've helped over 500 businesses go from making their first dollar to making millions. And a lot of you may not know this, but my brother is actually a very successful full-time content creator. And I've asked him if he would be so gracious to come on to my YouTube channel and actually audit my business plan. So Andrew, would you introduce yourself?
Absolutely, Jordan. I appreciate you for having me on. For those of you who don't know, my name is Andrew Bond, and my channel is called Out of the Box. I do tech and gaming videos. I do tips and tricks, how-tos, unboxings, and reviews, and I have more than 1 million total followers across all my social media platforms. I was also a top 100 contestant on the Amazon Prime TV show Beast Games over the summer as well, and today I'm going to be auditing my brother's channel and giving him some tips and tricks on how he can grow on YouTube and different social media platforms. So I'm excited to get into it. And I thought what would be a fun icebreaker to kind of get started is I was going to pull out a timer on my phone, and I actually want to do a fun little exercise with you, Jordan. So first of all, I want you to explain to the viewers, who are you? Ready? Go.
I'm Jordan. I'm a financial content creator. I help aspiring business owners take their business from ground zero, a failing business plan, to an A+ business plan so they can be successful and make their first.
Stop. All right. So here's the thing. I know we're starting off crazy, but if anybody's going to be a very successful YouTuber, we have to be able to clearly identify who we are to somebody that has never seen us before within 10 seconds and give them a what's in it for me moment. So you need to be able to say, this is who I am, this is what I do, and here's what's in it for you if you continue to watch within 10 seconds. You're very long-winded because you're an actual real-life business professional, and you're not what I would call a YouTuber quite yet. Meaning you have all the credibility in the world, but we need to do a little bit of tweaking and condensing so that we can get you short and sweet and delivering to the audience. So a better way to maybe rephrase that would be, my name's Jordan. I own a company. My name's Jordan. I've owned an accounting firm for 5+ years. I've helped over 1,000 businesses. I have a podcast. Like say something like that, because it builds credibility for you, who you are, what you do, and then we do 1-hour podcasts helping aspiring business owners grow or something like that. You know, try to give more like substance and detail in that section. So when I introduce myself, I'll be like, my name's Andrew. I'm a YouTuber. My channel's called Out of the Box, and I do gaming and tech videos. And then sometimes I'll throw in like I do tips and tricks, how-tos, unboxings, and reviews, something like that. Because it really encompasses everything that you do, and that's kind of like a really good thing to do. I would say try not to like overdo it, oversell or overpromise. Just try to get to the main key points. So why don't we like rewind back and try one more time within 10 seconds? Okay, so let's play a game, round 2. And this time I want you to clearly explain to that camera who you are, what you do, and why they should watch. Ready? Go.
Hi, I'm Jordan. I'm a financial content creator that owns his own accounting firm. I help businesses go from ground zero to make their first 100,000 in revenue.
Okay, that was pretty good. And you left 3 seconds on the table. And I think there's actually quite a few things you could fill 3 seconds with. So I think that's already a massive improvement, but that's just something to think about. If we're doing podcast style long form videos or something that's a little bit longer winded, you have about 10 seconds. If we're going to do vertical short format stuff like TikToks, Instagram Reels, or shorts on YouTube, you have about 3 seconds to convince somebody. So that's where you start with the hook. But a lot of what people forget about, in my opinion, is telling who they are and kind of explaining clearly to the audience why they should watch. You know what I mean? So I think it's important that we build up our credibility, which is why in the beginning of this, we talked about, oh, my brother Andrew has almost 500,000 subscribers. He was top 100 contestant in Beast Games. You see those things and it makes me a little more intriguing to the audience. So just something to think about. All right, so we're going to start off simple, and then we're going to really like kind of get into some stuff that you may not like. What are your goals?
My goals are, first off, to obviously grow in subscribers, but it's more about views. So I'm just worried about getting views, and I would obviously like to at least get to a break-even point since I'm currently paying an editor and such. So get money flowing, essentially the goal.
Okay. And what's your time frame for those goals?
It's tough with content. I guess I need to build up the quality of my content. I could be a little bit more confident in the results I'm going to get. But because I have divided attention a little bit, to just be completely honest, between the business I'm already running, my accounting firm, um, it's a little difficult to create really tangible goals in that way. But I'd like to, in the next year, get to a point where I'm monetized in some way or fashion and got some sort of cash flow at least generating.
Okay. And then do you have like, so clearly identify for me and the audience, what is your end goal? What does the end look like?
My end goal is to basically be able to find a good account into a platform that is trusted. People can go to find a good account and find a wide range of business audits. Let's say they're going to go start a landscaping business or a cleaning business or whatever that is, and we're the number one resource on content to help them do that. Obviously, end goal would be to have a lot of people applying in, and then be able to leverage, obviously, the social media platforms to create other sources of revenue um, beyond just AdSense.
Okay.
So
Okay. And then for me, I find it to be really helpful to set like tangible goals that we can actually identify and hit, stepstones along the way. So, like for me, for example, when I was doing my YouTube strategy, I'm sitting here thinking to myself, what constitutes as a win for me? What are those like things that I can say, you know what, we actually did something that we can be proud of and let's celebrate. One of them for me was getting a silver play button, 100,000 subscribers. Not only do you get actually verified by YouTube, so you have a little check mark next to your name, you get a silver play button, which is really awesome because it builds a lot of credibility when you see me have it hanging on the wall behind me. Obviously, someone goes, "Oh, this guy's a YouTuber." Like for me, I felt like a play button made me a YouTuber, and that was like something big for me. Obviously, monetization was probably the first one, and I think that's the first one that everybody kind of looks at. Oh, if I can get 1,000 subscribers, if we can get monetized. I think a lot of people get too hung up on monetization though, and being too hung up on monetization, in my opinion, I feel like it skews the content that you're capable of making because when you're solely focused on what makes me money, I think it hinders the ability to put out the best content possible that you're capable of. And I know it's a really easy thing to say once you're, oh, that's easy for someone who's monetized to say. But at the end of the day, if you don't worry about the money and you just focus on making the best videos possible, you are going to make more money than you know what to do with. And that's kind of the way it goes. It's really backwards, and you have to really have like a numb mind to it. Cause I know a lot of content creators are struggling and they're like really hyper focused and they have a short window to make this happen. You're not actually one of those people though, because you're pretty successful in your own right.
yeah, I was gonna say I am fortunate. So other people that are starting this, they have to start, and so all it is about making money. That's a tangible goal, I guess, for me to start getting money because it's like an accomplishment. Because through YouTube, I mean, we have 1,500 subscribers, which obviously isn't that much. That used to be a crazy threshold, like, oh, you get 1,000 subscribers, you get monetized. Obviously, it's changed now. But I am fortunate enough to have gotten into the place within my personal success that I don't need the money from YouTube.
So would you say that YouTube is a business for you, or is YouTube just an asset for your other business?
I would actually like YouTube to become my source of business. So in the long run, that is my vision for it. But for a very long time, unless we absolutely blew up, I'll obviously take leads that happen. I'm sure that people will like the content and the advice I'm giving, and I'll get some, clients for my accounting firm. But ultimately, I'd like to see that flip.
Okay. That's a great goal, in my opinion. So what does success look like for your business? And I guess we'll keep it on more so on the topic of YouTube and not on the topic of your actual accounting firm.
Success to me looks like basically I have quite a bit of applicants that I can choose good content, people that I believe are going to produce good content. Um,
And sorry to interrupt, but when you say applicants, I just want to make sure that the viewers at home understand what you're talking about. You're talking about people that apply to sit in the chair I'm sitting in and be interviewed by you.
Correct.
Okay.
So, yeah, exactly. They bring me their ground zero business plan, and I tell them what's good, what's bad, and what needs to be improved on it on the video. Not everyone. A lot of people are soft spoken. A lot of people are maybe not the best option to make good content. Sometimes we need some conflict. People will find that entertaining. So, success to me would be able to at least be able to find good options and have quantity to choose from. And then just genuinely providing good value. So it sounds dumb, but obviously views and engagement is a sign of people getting value. And so it's not about the engagement. It's more about people can comment and be like, oh my gosh, this is exactly what I needed because I didn't know what the heck to do. When I was trying to start my business, I always kind of wanted to start one, but I just didn't know what it meant. I didn't know what an LLC was or an S corp, and so provide value and basically the repercussions of that are engagement and applicants.
And if people do want to apply, if they find themselves sitting watching this video saying, hey, that sounds like me. I really feel like I'm close and I just need a little bit of help to get me past that threshold, that finish line where I want to go. Where can they apply?
We have a link in the description. It's a Google form.
Okay.
So they'll fill out some questionnaire. The questionnaire gauges if they're personally ready to be a business owner. And then their business plan, they'll submit a business plan. There's guidelines on the questionnaire as well. And that will gauge if their business plan is good, whether they have the right business model, and I'll critique that as well. So they get basically a rating on if they're personally ready and a rating if their business plan would be competitive in the market that they're trying to get into.
That's really awesome. I mean, it sounds to me like just applying, there could be some self-value and feedback given. Because if you, for example, can't answer one of the important questions, that gives you an indication like, hey, maybe I really need to think about that portion of my business a little bit. So even if you don't make it on the show, could be a good idea just to fill it out just in case. Yeah. Awesome. All right, cool. And so Jordan, like I kind of want to like rewind and hammer back down on this a little bit. What does success look like for your business? And I'm going to ask a little bit deeper this time. Is it money? Is it followers? Is it views? Or is it something else?
I guess from the three that you said, the most important to me is views, because the algorithms are obviously very good. I
mean, is that the most important, or is that what you think the right answer is?
It's the most important to me. It's about my, it's not about cash. I'm, blessed enough to not have to worry about that. But what views gives me is influence, and I'm all about influence. I mean, one of my questions on the questionnaire of you're personally ready is, do you have influence in your community? Because that's going to produce you business. At least that's one attribute that could help you get business. And so views and recognition, that's going to pay way more dividends to me than the freaking $1,000 in AdSense. I know I mentioned money, like getting monetized is a goal. It's just a kind of a success, a motivating factor. To be monetized would help motivate me to keep pushing and keep grinding. Because right now I'm obviously investing money into this with no major money back. So yes, stand by the views is most important. That I could be recognized and providing value to a lot of people is the goal.
Perfect. And actually, Jordan, so I'm sitting here writing on my little e-ink reader, and I don't want to show what I'm writing. Don't look. I have sloppy writing anyway, so even if you looked, I don't think you could read
Literally chicken scratch.
What I'm doing at the end for you, and just so you know and the viewers know what to expect, I'm actually writing a list of actionable items and steps that I'm going to leave you with. And based on the answers that you give me, it's kind of giving me intel as to what I think you could improve on, or what I think you could add on to really add value to yourself and your audience. So that's what I'm doing. If I'm writing in here, I'm writing actionable steps. So make sure you guys watch till the very end, because it's going to be good. All right, cool. So next up, Jordan, who is your target audience? And actually, as a follow-up to that, Do you know who your target audience is?
It's more than likely younger, probably male, and
When you say younger, I need very specific when I ask this question.
18 to 35 is
Okay.
probably the target audience. It's an aspiring business owner, someone that's, I think almost every male ever has probably thought about starting a business, but they have the most drive and aspirations at that younger age. So
Mhm.
it's probably that demographic. And basically people that just want to grow in wealth and grow financially. So there might be some people that watch, like a Dave Ramsey, and they just have a desire to be financially smart. And I'm in a big belief that business is the number one way to grow wealth.
Mhm.
So um, basically, young, hungry males is probably the majority of my demographic.
The reason it's important to understand those type of things is you're understanding this is who I'm creating content for, and that's who you're skewing it to. Like if you were going to teach a child about finance, what would you teach them? Not about stocks and investing. That's way too complicated, right? We would just teach them maybe about saving and not overspending,
Mhm.
things like that. So like understanding realistically who your audience is, that's who you're going to create content specifically for. And I feel like all of us, and when I say us, I mean like any content creator struggles with, I don't actively think when I'm creating videos, oh, like who's going to be watching? Who am I making this for? And that's a big mistake in my opinion. You have to constantly be reminding yourself when you're coming up with ideas or you're coming up with scripts or you're coming up with different types of things like theories, who is going to be watching this video? That could be hurting your channel, and it is hurting your channel. It's hurting my channel. And that's why sometimes I feel like me personally, I can go super viral or I could just post something that's completely dead because I might just completely miss the target audience there. I could be teaching something that's so basic that my audience is like, dude, everybody already knows that. Duh. And that's on me because I didn't do my own due diligence and remind myself who's actually going to be watching this right now. So it's like, it's something so simple, but the reason I ask is like, there's a ton of actual value that you can have out of that. Because let's be honest, like, who wants to make days and days and days worth of content and then have no views on it? Nobody. You want somebody to watch that video that you're so proud of that you took the time to make, right? Like, nobody wants to sit here. And I did it for years, making videos that no one cared about, that no one would watch. And it's because I was just making stuff that I wanted to watch. And sometimes that's okay if you're that guy. Like, I'm pretty sure Mr. Beast is that guy. If he makes a video that he wants to watch, everyone wants to watch it because he's a freak of nature and he's just got like a different type of brain than most people, right? But like, you really got to think and be conscious of who your customer is. So that's kind of why I ask it. And a lot of what I'm going to be asking is who, what, when, where, why, how. Because I really feel like most people just forget to ask that. You might ask yourself that once, but most people don't even ask it when they're building a business plan. If you're not asking who, what, when, why, where, and how, dude, you're going way too far ahead of where you need to be. You got to start from ground zero. Everybody's trying to start at ground 99 or 100 and just get there, you know? So that's the main thing. All right. Now I want to do something a little fun. We're going to take a little field trip, but sitting right here.
Field trip.
We're going to take a little field trip. The screen's going to change for them. I'm pulling open my tablet here, and we're going to do a channel review and audit. So we're going to go through your channel together.
This is where I should have said things are off limits.
Yeah. So Jordan, and I'm going to pop all this up on the screen for them as you're seeing it, but I'm going to hand you this, and I want you to go through your own channel for me and tell me what's good and what's bad.
I definitely think the thumbnails need improvement. I mean, I haven't looked at this in a long time, but the banner, I don't think is doing me any favors.
Why? Describe it.
It doesn't. I don't. I don't think it's clear at all, like what my content is, and obviously, someone should look at this and instantly know what I'm offering. And it's definitely not. Can you put I feel like I should know this. Can you put a description to like,
Mm-hmm.
do I just not have one?
Yep.
Well, I need to put a description because, yeah, people come here and, yeah, I think they're just going to be confused at what I even am. And obviously, people aren't going to spend much, they're not going to try to figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
So if they don't know what I am right off the bat, then that's a problem.
Agreed. I agree. I think that's actually a perfect assessment of yourself. And I really don't have much more to add to that. And this is like a key takeaway that I want the audience to understand. You probably know exactly what you need to do to succeed. You're just not taking the time to sit down and look at your stuff and have an honest conversation with yourself. Jordan's doing it in front of a live audience, which is commendable. It's brave. Because I think a lot of us want to hide behind the fact that if we don't look, we don't know, right? I've heard people say that if I don't look at my bank account, I don't know how low the number is. Like, you got to look. If you want to build a business, you got to have the most honest conversation with yourself in the world. I told my mom last night, I had a 45-minute phone conversation with my mom last night. And she said, son, why are you being so hard on yourself? Why are you going crazy on yourself? Your content's great. You need to stop talking down about yourself. And I said, Mom, listen, I am the only person in the world who is either willing to or knowledgeable enough to be honest with me. Nobody else in my life is going to sit here and tell me, hey, Drew, that last video, you dropped the ball on that one. It just wasn't a good video. The packaging was off. It was boring in the beginning, whatever. Either they love me too much and they'll say, no, I loved it. That's a great video. That's what your family and friends will say. Either because honestly, they don't give a shit. Let's be real. They don't care. They're either not watching, don't care, or and by the way, those people can hurt views, which we can either touch on or not touch on. But they either don't care, they're being too nice to you, or they don't know. And either way, we're going to have grace with that and we're going to understand that. But like the reality is, if you're not willing to sit down like Jordan just did, look at your own content and understand, I know, even if I don't want to admit to myself what I can do to fix this, then what are we doing here, right? Like that's a perfect assessment. And that's exactly what I would say. Your content honestly is great. I heard such a good analogy today, actually. A lot of people say things like, my video's so good, I don't understand the maybe the click-through rate's low, right? But like when people get in there, the watch time, the average view duration's high, and like the comment section's good, like someone said it changed their life, whatever. And packaging is important because what if you had like a Michelin star food from a chef, but it was inside of a McDonald's Happy Meal box? You would have no clue how good that food is. Because on the face value, you're like, oh, I don't want to gain weight. That's unhealthy. McDonald's, it's not that good, whatever, right? And I'm not even bashing on McDonald's because I love McDonald's fries. But like, I'm just saying,
Right.
like, you wouldn't know that Gordon Ramsay cooked the meal because the meal's so good, but the packaging's so bad, right? But if you walked up to Hell's Kitchen on the strip of Las Vegas, you're like, dude, ooh, I know I'm going to get some good food right now. You already know you are because of the ambiance, because of the presentation, because of the greeting. Like everything's so good. And that's what we got to think about. Like you guys might have really good content, but people aren't going to find it for the reasons you just identified. I click in. I have no clue what you do, man. I really don't. And why am I going to watch you? I'm just going to watch Caleb Hammer or Dave Ramsey, right? But you might actually be more in line with what I need than them. Because the way I identify them, I don't always relate with what Dave Ramsey says. I'm going to be honest. Like when I hear him talk, I'm just like, that's for someone, but it ain't for me. That's just how I feel. I like him. I like his stuff. I watch it, but I never relate to it. It's seldom I relate to it. Caleb Hammer, very, very entertaining person. But like, again, I really don't get value out of that personally because the situations that, as entertaining as they are, his audience and his podcast guests find themselves in, I'm not in those situations. I just can't relate to it. I feel like this is more educational here, and I feel like I would personally get more value here watching your videos. But the only reason I'm even watching your videos or aware of them is because I'm related to you, because I'm your brother. If I saw that, I would never click. And that's just like an honest roast, only because if I tell you that, you're going to improve it later. You're going to be like, dang, I want to give him something he'd click on. which is why you texted me, 2 weeks ago? Which one of these would you rather click on, right? And what I tell you, I wouldn't click on either of them. But if you're asking me which one's the best, I guess that one. So, and honestly, you know what? Let's roast mine. Let's look at my channel. I honestly, this was done a couple of years ago.
Do I get to roast his channel?
You can if you want to. You can.
I'm not. I'm gonna be cussing like Caleb Hammer. Let me tell you.
You can if you want to. What do you think of mine?
Well, your banner says exactly what you are. And tells them to subscribe, which every time it seems annoying, but just that remind, because you just swipe through stuff and never click anything. So I think that's beneficial. And then you have a description, which I don't know how I don't, but I don't have a description. You do, and it says your one-stop shop for all things gaming and tech, which says exactly what you do in like 10 words. So that's perfect. And then obviously your thumbnails and everything look way better. So, but yeah, I think obviously I look at this, I know exactly what you do without watching a single video. So
okay, well that's good. I mean, that was a lot nicer than I would have been to myself. I mean, with the main thing is like branding identification, and you want things to match. You know what I mean? But what you're gonna notice when you look at my thumbnails is how simple they really are, and understanding the value of you. This is something that another big creator, Parker Burton, and I had a conversation about. We got to the airport 2 hours early when we were on a trip. And I was just talking to him. I said, Parker, my views are down lately, and I don't understand why. And he said, I know why. I said, I wish you would have texted me or told me, but what's up? If you know the answer, that's crazy. And he said, Andrew, you're not what you used to do when you were getting crazy views is you would always lead off the intro with your face. And in a lot of ways, like when I lead off the intro with my face and things like that, it performs a lot better. But for whatever reason, I got in my own head so bad. And I was thinking, I'm really not that important. What is it? Why Jordan's here? Because again, who am I creating videos for? I got in my own head really bad. And I started thinking, no one cares about me. All they care about is the iPhone. So the intro should be, boom, just the iPhone only, right? That's wrong. That's so wrong. And my views started to decline and plummet because of it. And it was because haters in my comment section inspired me to change who I was as a video creator. And I wasn't talking to enough people and networking.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense to me because I don't think obviously the packaging, there's a lot I have to do and improve, but the actual quality of like what's said on my podcast and stuff, I don't know, call me biased, but everyone probably says this about their own comment. I think it's so much like, this is the channel I would want to watch. That's why I created it. It's like so much better than a lot of the stuff I see. And, but it doesn't matter because I'm not recognized. But if Caleb Hammer did the same stuff, just because people recognize him. So if you're not in the video, like you're definitely big enough to where people recognize you, and then they're just like, oh, that's Andrew, I'm gonna watch. It's just people's natural response. Where if it's someone they don't know, then it's a really hard pitch just to get them watching in the first place. That's why it's so hard to grow.
Right. Agreed. And that's really, again, 100% correct. Like it's a great assessment, but that's too many steps ahead. So what I would say is like right now, and that's me 6 years into it, doing this full time, pretty successful in my own right. That's stuff I'm working on right now, but that's not, again, like I said in the beginning of this, we don't want to focus on those things too early because you start focusing on that and you're going to lose out on everything you should be doing right now. And you're going to get way too lost. And I've done it. And that's why I'm here saying it, because I have been there and am there in certain areas. The reason I know where to pick on you guys or poke you is because that's where I've fallen short, right? So like it's easy.
Okay, so I do the same thing. I'm just not as experienced with YouTube, I guess, but I help people do these broad things. Like they say, the gardening industry is a $55 billion industry. That's so freaking irrelevant. Does not freaking matter. it's creating small tangible goals. So because of your experience, what are the small tangible goals that I need to improve on for where I'm at?
I'm going to be giving you those at the end.
He's really making you stick around to watch the whole
Yep.
thing.
And actually, I was about to write this note because I had another takeaway for you. It's funny that you were asking that because I think both of us had ding a light bulb moment at the same time. Like, wait, he's probably got something. I saw a little twinkle in his eye. He knows something I don't know, and that's why again I'm going to write down actionable steps for you when I leave because. If anything, like anytime anyone sits down with me, I want them to leave with some type of value. And that's the important part to me. You're not going to remember most of what I say, which is why when you watch this episode back, it'll still be entertaining. But you're going to remember these actionable steps. And I'm going to try to break it down into 3 broader steps. And there's going to be a lot of things in between that kind of go with those. All right. So kind of going back to the fact that you have a successful business now and you're now choosing to do YouTube. Why are you even doing these videos?
Well, number one, I want this content myself. Like if someone else made this content, I would 100% watch it. It'd be my favorite channel. I'm an entrepreneur at heart. I stay up all night because I can't sleep just thinking about business ideas. I got so many things I want to do. And part of the reason I love what I do just as a, an accountant and working with business owners all day is I get to strategize with their businesses in all sorts of industries. So, number one is like, I would love to see this content out there. So I decided to make it myself. But number two, I have a business idea that me being influential would very much help. So it's also my own entrepreneurial goals. Obviously, an influencer can, if leveraged correctly, be very, very effective for business.
In no way, shape, or form have you really mentioned money, the desire for money, how you're going to make money, the expectation of this is how much money I think I can make. Where does money fall into this for you?
So, I mean, the first and obvious that everyone knows about is AdSense. You get monetized, you start getting ad revenue. Still not going to be very much until you get a serious amount of views. But that's the obvious. The thing about the financial sphere specifically, though, and why I specifically, it's also supported my decision making into doing the content that I'm doing, is financial has by far the most AdSense revenue. Advertisers essentially want to pay the most to reach those people because those people tend to have money. Mm-hmm. Another one is promotional deals. So you might see like a Rocket Money or a Credit Karma type thing down the road. Mm-hmm. That would pay
like sponsors and stuff for the channel.
That would obviously pay really well. But my unique thing above other YouTubers in general is I actually have a business, and I can create leads for myself as well. So that's a unique opportunity that others don't even have because I have someone comes on the show and I help them make a successful business. I'm probably going to be their accountant. Mm-hmm. That's the obvious, but even other people that are just seeing and already have a business, they may choose to switch just because they like me, or they want to work with me because they saw me on YouTube. So those are the 3 things I would say.
Okay. That's perfect. And then, so that's good. I mean, I wanted to kind of drive home where the transactions happen. I don't care what you do when the money comes in, where the money goes, whatever you want to do with that's fine. And I know you're a pretty generous guy, so you probably give me like 15% of that. But at the end of the day, like he doesn't need it though, right? So no.
Well, speaking of that, I actually had a concept because you've been here, you've been successful in YouTube, you've been ground zero, you've learned a lot. You've actually worked with the biggest people, Jimmy. Mm-hmm. You've been in contact with Jimmy and made a video with Jimmy. You've been in contact with all of his whole team. You've seen how he does production. So I know you have what it takes to make my channel successful. Mm-hmm. So one of the things that I've identified that I need the most because my attention is divided. I have my accounting firm and I can't focus and give my full attention to making sure production's good, my thumbnails are good, all that kind of stuff. I was going to give you an option to take that if you got me to 100,000 subscribers, I would give you $25,000.
Oh, I could do that. Yeah, I can definitely do that. I can definitely do that. And I'm not a finance channel, so I don't make as much as these guys. So like I could use the 25K anyway. You know what I mean? No,
Serious offer, folks.
Serious offer. I'll take it. I'll take the offer right now. I got this guy on a silver play button, and it's not going to be mine either.
Let me borrow it. Or
okay, so with that said, if you guys want to see more content on a series of how we transform Jordan's channel and get it from ground zero to 100,000 subscribers, aka a silver play button, let us know down in the comment section below. Maybe we'll do a couple follow-up videos and talk about the steps that we're doing in between. But I'm sure if you guys subscribe and watch his videos normally, then you're going to see transitionary things happening. And you guys will probably notice pretty quickly some big changes that are going to help. But yeah, I mean, I'm down to do that. That doesn't really sound like that big of a challenge for me. And yeah, I could definitely do that for you.
all I got to say is if we get to 100,000 subscribers from this one video, I'm mad at y'all. It's costing me $25K
25K
in one video.
Everybody subscribe, seriously, though. All right, so let's see. Do you want fame?
I don't like that word. I want influence, which people affiliate fame, but I just don't like the word fame. That sounds kind of arrogant. Like I'd never want to portray myself as that or greater than someone. So yes and no.
Okay. And what do you get out of this?
Out of this specific video?
No, doing the channel. Like what do you get out of this?
Influence is number one for sure. Obviously money follows. But influence is wealth, and it creates a lot of opportunities. If you're, so, you know, we both were from ground zero, and we didn't have any handouts. And but the point is if Donald Trump, for example, he got $1 million loan, and the dude still made an empire, $1 million in it. He still accomplished what most people can't. But the point is obviously he had a big leg up. If we had $1 million, I would be in a much different space if I had all that time. Because money, right, when you're young, obviously, I could have done so much with it. But influence.
When it pertains to YouTube, what are your biggest weaknesses and strengths?
My strengths 100% are my education and experience beyond other financial creators. The reality is they make good content, but they don't have any of the education that I do, the experience I do, or the relevance and specifically my content with business owners and making business plans.
So you bring more credibility to the table than most, if not all, of your peers on YouTube.
Absolutely.
Okay.
So that's my number one strength. My weakness is my lack of entertainment value. I'm an introvert. I'm quiet, soft spoken. This isn't like my comfortability. I'm just pushing what I can do. And so I also don't think I have a great, but probably most people don't. It's probably just a learned skill. I don't think I have a great eye for production and those types of things. But ultimately, with the specific content that I'm making, I think I'm just not a big enough personality. I think that's a weakness.
Okay. What I would recommend to you, because your weakness is the weakness of most creators, you have to understand anybody that makes videos for a living online is probably weird. It's true. Like, I'm a very weird person. People will say, you're weird. I know I make videos for a living. Of course I'm weird. Of course I am, right? But like the thing is, the reason that I work solo right now, and I've had full-time editors and like team members and people to help me with my content, but I've really refined back down to kind of be the Swiss Army knife of my channel again. The reason why is because of production logistics. And that's where you're struggling. And that's where a lot of people are going to struggle. Most people have to be the Swiss Army knife to start out until they gain amount of money and influence to then go ahead and delegate and hire people that are better than them at doing things. Like, why would I make a thumbnail when I'm like mid at Photoshop? I'm probably like a 4 out of 10 at Photoshop. I try my best. And to get something halfway decent, it takes me 10 times longer than someone who's really good that can just knock it out in an hour. It'll take me 2 days. And you're right. I mean, I have worked with the greatest thumbnail designers on the entire planet, Jimmy's team. I've sent them my packaging, my stuff, and they're like, dude, no, restart again. And I'm like, I'm proud of this one. This one rocks. I said it. They're like, no, that's terrible. Redo it. You know, so it's a humbling experience, but like just understanding and having that type of knowledge is like, it's a very humbling thing. And I actually agree with doing everything in-house yourself first, if possible, because the reason why is because then you understand and have empathy for the people that are going to work around you. You know what you can ask, how much you should ask for, and what's realistic, right? Like you can't tell somebody, oh, I want this type of edit done, but we need it by Friday. Is that really realistic? If you've never done the job, how do you know? How do you know you're not overpaying the heck out of somebody because it could have been done by Wednesday? You're giving them till Friday, so they're just sitting around playing video games for 2 days. You don't even know, and you're like, dang, I'm having to pay all this labor for all these days of work. Or you're being a complete jerk and trying to force people to do a month's worth of work in a week, which is what's happening in film and TV right now. If you've seen CG work, these very talented artists, they're getting underpaid and they're not getting enough time to do their job. So we're getting really terrible results on the big screen. And it is not the talented VFX artist's fault. They just don't even have the time. And I've been doing my own edits. Trust me. I would know about it at 4 a.m. when I'm like, oh my gosh, I promise everyone this is going to be out by 7. And I'm trying everything. I'm like, what can we cut out? What can we cut out? And you get to that phase, right? So like, I think doing the steps first, you're never going to ask somebody to do something you haven't done or aren't willing to do yourself, and something that you're not educated enough to ask for. So just something to think about, but that actually applies to all business. Like you brought up landscaping earlier. How do you know like how long it takes to dig a trench if you've never done it on a specific type of soil, in the heat, whatever? Are you overpaying or underpaying laborers? Like, let's be fair to ourselves and our business. We're going to be frugal and smart with our money. I'm not going to pay $1,000 for a trench and get ripped off if someone would do it A1 and be thrilled with 500, right? Like if I've never done it and I'm not experienced, this is why experience matters, because you just don't know what you don't know. It's as simple as that. And everybody in this life loves to gatekeep. So like you can ask other creators, they're not going to tell you anything. They really aren't. And it's either because they have a lack of experience themselves, which really is true, or they're just gatekeeping. They're not going to help you. They had to struggle, so why shouldn't you have to struggle too? So it really is important, but just something to think about. Jordan, I want to ask you, what are your takeaways from this interview? Have you learned anything? What have you taken away? How have you grown?
It should be obvious, but just monitor like how people are looking at my stuff, and audit myself. Like I feel like I even had a content creator come on here, obviously very new, but I was able to audit her stuff and give a lot of tips, and I think it went really well as far as the value I was able to offer. But we almost don't do this to ourselves. So I just to your point, you're so knowledgeable and you're so far in the game that no one can audit your stuff because you're just so good. Like I looked at your stuff and I was like, it's good because you know it's what I know. But to my point too, I guess I'm have you and you know, maybe your incentive to get me to 100K will help that process. But I've identified that weakness, but I can also just make that happen on my own. Like I was able to identify in 10 seconds things I needed to improve just looking at my channel. And yeah, I mean, I have time for that. It seems like I don't because I have so much going on, but reality is I do.
It only took
does.
You a minute.
Yeah.
Under a minute, dude, in under a minute, you gave such a good breakdown of everything wrong with what you were looking at. And it was your own stuff. It shows you the power of your own mind. We don't give ourselves that credit. you know a lot. You are experienced. And I think that you've been exposed to a lot of people that know a lot more than you do. And you've just been able to absorb it like a sponge. And over the years, like, I think you're a very advanced mind. But what I would tell you, like a big thing for you, don't forget to break down the basics. Don't forget to go back down to the basics. And that's why a lot of what I've harped on, it may seem so simple, but sometimes that's what you need is you need a person that is going to be in your life to be like, hey, did you ask who is this for? The who, what, when, where, why question. Just, oh yeah, I never think of that stuff. And I feel like when I am present in that mindset and I do that, I'm much more successful. I think we're overcomplicating things. That's really where I'm getting at. And really one of the biggest problems when I looked at your channel, it's way too busy, way too overcomplicated. You're trying to do too much. When I did the first 10-second like intro, who are you? You did way overcomplicated, way too much. Let's simple things down. Everybody's minds right now are so conditioned to TikTok, or like, I always like to call it TikTok or John Wick brain, right? Everyone likes John Wick. It's super awesome, but it's pew, 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 pew. It's like the TikTok of movies. That's why people like it. There's always something exploding, always something falling, always something breaking, always something happening. And that's what TikTok is. It's just scroll, 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 just mindlessly doom scrolling, right? But seriously, that's why things have to be simple. If you don't understand them immediately, you're already done. Or you can be have like a ton of notoriety. Like you said, people would watch anything from Caleb Hammer because they know who he is. But really what they know and really what they remember is not who he is. They know how he made them feel when they watched his videos. They're going, oh my gosh, who is this train wreck that's sitting across from Caleb? Like, what the heck? Why did they need to go see Justin Bieber that bad? They already have a negative bank account and now they just spent $5,000 on Justin Bieber tickets in the pit. It would change my whole life. Like, and he's like, what? Just going crazy on him. We laugh. That's how it made us feel. So next time he pops up, what do we remember? Not Justin Bieber tickets. We remember, oh my gosh, he was screaming last time. I want to see this again. Right? Like, and that's how simple it can be. That's how simple it is. But there is one big trap I want to caution you on. And not necessarily even you, but just really anybody that's watching. It's such a good and smart idea. I feel that you need to be watching the videos of all of your competitors. You need to understand your space. You can't just mindlessly go out there and be uploading videos about any random topic. You got to be in that space, right? But you also have to add value. So you don't want to copy other people. You want to gain inspiration and understanding of like video styles, editing styles, thumbnail styles that work. There's a reason they work. So like if someone really large, like Graham Stephan, his style works for a reason. He's in the finance space. I like watching that guy. He's like pretty big. So like, he's talked about it before. A lot of what he does is very negative on the surface. The packaging is always, oh my gosh, the Fed raised rates. And he's like this in the thumbnail. And it's like, we're doomed. What do we do in Red Riding? Whatever it is. And him as a person, he is not negative. He's a very positive person. It actually kills him. I've heard him talk about it, to have to try to appear so negative just to get clicks. But the fact of the matter is that's what works. And if we're going to be too proud to do that, we'll just never get views. There's something to learn from. But what I wouldn't do is look at somebody like Caleb Hammer or Sam Sulik. If you've ever seen him, he's like a bodybuilder that's popped off recently. Both great content creators, in my opinion. I love their videos, but they're very unique. And I feel that if you tried to copy those two styles, you would fail immediately. Do not copy their thumbnails. Don't copy their titles. Their stuff is not going to work because they're not actually structured for growth. They're not actually structured for anything. They just have become so notable that they could upload anything at this point. Kim Kardashian could upload, I love Arrowhead water. And how many views is that getting? With the worst thumbnail ever.
Way more than
millions of views. I'm telling you, more views than the most credible water review channel on earth posting about this Arrowhead water. So don't fall under the trap of, let me try to create these styles that are similar. Just because it worked for someone else doesn't mean it'll necessarily work for you. But I would just say really more so than anything, simplify, simplify, simplify. It's all about the ideas. All right, so now I want to break it down into actionable steps, things that you can actually take, improve, and add on to your business that are really going to help you grow. Number one, we've kind of talked about it, but we need to harp on it more. Simplify identity. You have to simplify who you are. For example, I know me personally, I'm a big I'm a big structural guy. So if you created like an actual structure that you can repeat easily and follow, that's really going to help in your style of video. Like for example, if you wanted to do like vertical formatting, you could just be like, here's a business financial audit in under 30 seconds or what, like some type of structured intro. That's not a super great one, but you see what I'm saying. If you could come up with a really good idea, which we'll kind of brainstorm and talk about a little bit, that just really hook, line, sinks. It's simple, it's effective, people know what it is, and they're ready to go, right? Like it really helps. Like a couple of my videos that have performed really well, because I do gaming and tech reviews. So like I might just be like iPhone 16 Pro Max or the 30-second iPhone 16 Pro Max review. That is the title. Now, when you scroll and you see that and you're interested and you see it's a 30-second iPhone 16 Pro Max review, are you willing to give me 30 seconds if it looks like it has good lighting and it's got a decent thumbnail on it? Hell yeah, you are. It's 30 seconds. That is the sales pitch. You're like, he's going to tell me everything I need to know about this phone in 30 seconds. And by the way,
well, what about, because each business that's coming on is typically a different one. It's going to be longer style. And I don't have a refined like time, but let's say 60 minutes. Like if I said a deep analysis of everything you need to know to start your landscaping company in 60 minutes. Like if you can't give an hour, I mean,
it's not, to me, that's not a good enough what's in it for me reason. You got to come up with something that's very intriguing. Like they know what they can get out of it. So when the way to figure this out is we already did the first step. Who's our target audience? Now we got to think, if I'm 18 years old or starting a business, 18 to 30 or whatever, and I'm really hungry and I really want to start my own business, I'm going to go on YouTube to start watching videos. What video do I want to see? What am I looking for? Think about it from their perspective. If we start thinking of those search terms, and there's actually a way that you can find out what their search terms are by reverse engineering. You just go into the search bar on the top of YouTube, and then you will type in like the biggest keyword for your channel, which is starting a business. Type in starting a business into the search bar on the top of YouTube, and it's going to start pre-populating like Google results. You just gave yourself a bunch of new ideas. The ones at the very top are searched the most. Start from there. It's as simple as that. If you really want to go a step further, go into actual Google. Google owns YouTube, right? Those always tie in together. Go into the Google search algorithm, type in the same thing. You want to take it a step further, go into Google Trends, type in the same thing. This is going to show you what's trending on the search algorithm, what people are real time looking up. And this is what's going to keep you timely. This is what, the Coachella Music Festival just happened. A lot of businesses want to capitalize on that. You started Googling ways to make $10,000 from working at Coachella or whatever. Think of all the different possibilities. Like there's probably a ton of different search that you missed out on recently about that, right? And it could really that's the type of thing where it's like you should find somebody that's like, oh yeah, because I used to have coworkers back when I worked at a grocery store. Their vacation time they would take off during Coachella just so that they could Uber or like chauffeur people or do whatever, and they would make more money in 2 weeks than they do the entire year at the grocery store. That's really interesting. If you're at a 9 to 5 working at a grocery store making minimum wage like I was, and you want to get out of that cycle, that's a really intriguing idea. How you can build a nest egg, cover your expenses for a few months so you can start your business. Like that is such an intriguing idea, right? And that's where success on YouTube begins, is in the idea stage. So I would encourage you to do things like that. If we want to take it a step further, besides going under YouTube search results, Google search results, Google Trends, and we really want to like do our homework here, and this is going to take time, you need to go identify who the main competitor channels are in your niche. You need to put all of them on a list, filter, go to all of their channels, subscribe to all of them, because that's going to change your algorithm and it's going to start recommending you things that is being recommended to your audience. You see where I'm going with this? So like you need to be in the zone. You can't be like messing around. This is all business. After that, filter for most viewed videos. We're looking for outliers here. Someone's got 10,000 subscribers, but they have a 100,000 viewed video. That's called an outlier. That is not normal. That's exceptional results, right? So what we want to do is we want to collect all the outliers from all of our competition channels, put them together into a document. I want you to look at the thumbnails and the titles of those. I want you to really study the ideas that worked and how much of an outlier it was. This will be a really solid indicator for you what works very well with your audience. Because as much as you think you know your audience, you really don't know them yet. You have a lot of room to grow. Most of your audience hasn't even found you yet. So technically, you're assuming you think you know your audience, and I think you have a good idea of it. But at the end of the day, let's really start by looking at our competitors and figuring out the outliers first. So that's what I would do. And that's something like super actionable that you can do or anybody at home can do as well. But do you have any questions on that?
Nope, makes sense.
Okay. So let's get back to other actionable items. So other than simplify identity, this includes thumbnails, packaging. This includes profile banners, profile pictures. I need the same profile picture across every single social media platform. Like you really got to like create like a cohesive type of brand. You know what I mean? And you understand that. Also, like with your intros, you really got to think about your intros, even on these long videos. What is your intro? Do the same intro every time. There's no reason to do a different intro. The only thing different is, and today our guest is Jordan Chris with Find a Good Accountant, who has blank, 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 whatever. Owns his own accounting firm, has a successful YouTube channel, and has helped grow more than a dozen businesses from $0 to $1 million. Jordan, you want to introduce yourself? Like just some type of repeatable thing, and then you just insert different, key points about that guest. So just simplify identity is like the biggest tip I can give you. Just doing that alone is going to get you more subscribers right away. Like easy. All right. Number 2, people that apply to be a guest on your show, you will do business audits of. So not everybody that applies gets to be on the show and get their own episode. But what about doing videos where for everybody that applies, you can do 60-second business audits, and everyone that's applying, you make a whole video out of. So even if they don't get on, they're getting so much value out of it. That's a great video idea. Like people are going to come and be like, oh my gosh, he's doing one on car washing. I wanted to do an auto detailing business. Oh my gosh, he's doing one on, and then here's what's going to happen. Here's the benefit of it.
So those are short formats?
No, just do it you can do them as shorts as well. That's the benefit, right? You can make them shorts, but I'm saying for long format videos, make a 10-minute video with 10 60-second business audits. Okay, so everybody that applies to be on my show doesn't necessarily get to be on it, but one guarantee that I do give is I'm going to do a 60-second breakdown of your business in a video just for applying, because we appreciate it, whatever. Today, we're going to start off number 1 with Jordan with Find a Good Accountant. This is what he gave. This is whatever, just try to, I don't know what, again, this is the simplified format we got to kind of break down, but here's the goal. And the goal of this video, and this is where staircasing and like really like setting the scene here and getting people, the audience retention time up. Whichever, comment down below, whichever business you like the most, and whichever business gets the most likes in the comment section, I'll actually fly out or bring out and put on the show. This brings retention up, engagement up, and now here's the best part. By the time you brought me on the show, your whole audience was begging you to do it. Now, how excited are they for that episode? Yes, he's actually bringing them on. He's actually listening. You should do this person next. You should do this person next. Think about the engagement that could bring, right? Like, why not do that? And here's the best side effect for it, Jordan. What did you tell me at the beginning of this episode you wanted? I want to maximize the most amount of applicants possible. Easy, right? It's a great idea. I know it is.
I sparked it.
Yeah, exactly. But it's really this simple though, right? Like, here's the bonus tidbit. Network. It really works. Talk to other people. I'm not in the finance world, but I'm a content creator. We should have coffee. Offer to buy me coffee. Hey, dude.
I'll just go on Graham Stephan's coffee hour.
That's what I'm saying. Well, yeah. I mean, ideally, that's what we're working up to, right? And he said that if I get him on Graham Stephan's coffee hour, he'll give me $250,000. So I will actually FaceTime Jimmy for that. And you know what's funny? He'd probably do it just to make you pay me because he thinks that type of stuff's funny.
He would.
He'd be like, okay. I also accept homes. Like if you want to just give me a whole house. Anyway. But yeah, networking is like the best bonus tip. If you know,
I have a loophole for that now that you said that.
Uh-oh.
I'll give you a whole house. It's just going to be a little Barbie doll house.
Oh, see? Smart guy. Smart. That's the content creator brain. That's the creativity part coming out. The last tip I want to leave you with, and I'm actually really excited about this one. Create a paywall program, right? So why not for individuals that want a really broken down business audit, but they don't want to be on the show. They don't want to be put on blast. Why not create something where if someone wants to pay, I don't know, $500, or there's different like levels to it, but $500, $1,000, $1,500, up to $5,000 or $10,000 for different levels. Jordan, I'm too embarrassed to come on the show because do you know how many people that want and need your help, but they're just too embarrassed to come on.
Well,
and I don't blame them.
You know what? There's so many businesses that are already in place, but they don't want to get blasted out in front of people. So that actually.
Yeah. So and now we're reaching like a different level of target audience of like we already have business owners that are maybe failing and they're like, hey, I just don't want to put myself out there because I'm a shy person or I'm a little embarrassed or what, and that's totally acceptable. But why not create a way that you can connect on a deeper level and help people off camera? Paywall. I mean, they could fund this whole thing. I wish I could do something like that with my YouTube channel, but I rely on sponsorships and ad revenue and different things like that. But realistically, like in your niche, dude, this is such a good idea. Such a good plan. There's probably a lot of people watching that are like, should I do it? Should I not do it? I don't know. Like, I'd rather just pay them $1,000 and have them do it offline with me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Something to think about. Awesome, Jordan. Well, I appreciate you having me on, man. It was an absolute blast and an honor. And hey, next time you guys show up, this guy might have a silver play button. We'll see.